I am Iowa State's Shakespeare professor, and I use my training as a humanist in the arts of storytelling and apply that to how we use simulation models with community stakeholders. I am part of a big data and sustainable cities decision-making team, and at this point you may be wondering, how does a Shakespeare professor connect to sustainability? So today I'll share a little bit about how I use my team's agent-based model as a fellow storyteller as I work with marginalized populations, specifically youth, in our target neighborhoods, and how I work to empower them as community leaders. In my first slide, I'll share a little bit of how I got the results I expected by using the agent-based model, and my second one, I'll share what rocked my world. And that's where the gaps will come in. I saw in my team's prototype agent-based model, which is about weatherization and social networks, a powerful tool to translate my team's actionable research into community action. Agent-based model is a social and systems simulation tool that allows us to run what-if scenarios, hence stories, and let us look at how the micro decisions of agents, when those agents interact and they work together, how that can have larger, sometimes unexpected collective impacts. It's all very action-focused. The sum, therefore, is greater than the parts. When I took this into youth, I got essentially the results I expected. And first I should emphasize that the screenshot that you see that looks like a little bit like a network, that's the agent-based model. Some of the action projects that we did in the lower area, you'll see a garden party. The youth, before they worked with the agent-based model, they saw their garden as a place to grow food. After they used the agent-based model, they wanted to make their garden a community gathering place. So they created aspects of a playscape to bring families and children into the garden. And then at the end of the season, they co-hosted a garden party. All of this is done in coalition with other community leaders. Up in the top, you'll see then a weatherization project. They did a mini action project. All this, again, is through the agent-based model. A mini action project that then also worked with residents to connect them to other community resources. I expected that. What I did not expect is that sometimes when I would take in the model, the youth would do things that were not fully in the model. And as a researcher, I panicked. Like, that's not in the model. But then my Shakespeare self said, wait a minute. Because what was happening is the youth began to tell the stories of their neighborhood. They began to share their experiences. They began to see themselves as leaders differently because of the gaps in the model. So it began to remind me of a Shakespeare play. Shakespeare strategically withholds specifics, as in Romeo and Juliet. He doesn't tell us why those families are feuding. And because of that, that provides a space for every director and every reader to come in and place their own values and make it locally relevant. So the same thing happened with the youth. Working with the model helped them transform their view of themselves as a group, their bonding social capital. You'll see that up in the top. They began to see themselves, we're special because we lead as a team. We lead with our community. They also began to transform their view of themselves as experts. You also see a picture of us at our community partner meetings, one of many. They began to see themselves that they also had experts. Their stories of their neighborhoods made them experts at the table as well. So all this helped me see how agent-based models can serve as ways to join the stories of science with community stories, allowing us to inspire a combined story of action.